I was waiting for my job interview in a waiting room with other guys. I had calmed myself before entering there by using all the hacks I could find on the internet. I was feeling invincible and I was ready to nail the interview. It was taking longer, so I started reading some books, walking around a bit, beholding the figures on the shelves. With each passing minute, I could feel my being invincible feeling abandoning me. And when my serial number appeared on the screen, it had completely left. Then I felt it. A strong presence in me took form. It was so strong that my limbs were shaking. It was fear. What? I bet my heartbeat was faster than MP40 submachine gun. And with that, I fucked up. This is one of many examples from my personal life how fear stopped me from achieving my goals. In today's video, we will look at fear closely. What's the root of it, how it affects you, and how you can overcome it. Are you ready? Let's jump in. First rule is knowing the problem, what actually fear is. Fear is the natural response of your mind to protect you from danger, especially in unknown situations. Fear is your brain trying to protect you. How nice, brain has such a big heart. Brain heart? Your pupils dilate, allowing more light and hence more information to enter your eyes. You get jackhammered breath, your heartbeat and blood pressure throttles. It is done by the body to provide more oxygenated blood to your organs and hence more energy that you can use for fight or flight. Your body sweats to keep it cool. Stress hormones are released that improves your reactions to the stimuli. It's obvious why we have fear of heights, why our legs don't stop running when being chased by some animal, why we stay away from fire. Our mind is protecting us by inducing fear. But what about the fear of public speaking, fear of being rejected, fear of asking something stupid and being made fun of? These aren't life-threatening situations, so why do we feel the same fear and same body reactions at such times? Is mind also trying to protect us here? Yes, it is. Or at least, it's what it thinks. There are a bunch of reasons behind this reaction of brain. First is role of evolution. Our brain is always in power-saving mode. When we do something new that requires efforts and energy, like forming a habit of jogging in the morning or hitting the gym daily, our brain resists it. That's why we don't really like to get out of our comfort zone. We are just saving power. But why? To understand this, we need to go back in time, thousands of years, when we, of course not we, but our ancestors used to roam in the wild. There were no cities, no facilities of internet, no Walmart, no shopping complex, nothing. Just wild nature all around. At that time, our ancestors were more of a prey than a predator. They were hunted by giant bears, saber-toothed tigers, crocodilians, giant hyenas, and many other creatures, including other tribes. Yes, they were cannibals. Any new terrain could have been dangerous. There could be wild animals or other tribes. Also, trying something new could mean death. For example, eating an unknown plant that could be poisonous, stepping in unknown waters that could contain crocodilians, etc. Our ancestors only did what was known to them, and even when they tried something new, they were super cautious. The food was scarce and body had to use whatever was available. Often, they had to go days without food, so it learned to survive in low fuel. Since wasting the energy on useless things could prove dangerous, our brain always preferred to save as much power as it could, so that it could be utilized at time of danger when it is really required. But everything has changed now. We no longer have to wander in wild or hunt for food. We don't have these threats now, but our fears are still the same. Our brain hasn't changed much since then, and we still have that prehistoric mindset. That's why it still treats any new unfamiliar situation and environment as a possible threat. That's why we feel nervous in a new unfamiliar environment, when faced with unknown people, when trying something new, we're always in doubt. Your past experience. Whenever you're faced with some situation, your brain tries to recall the similar situations faced by you in the past. This is because your poor mind doesn't have a Google search facility. It cannot search for similar situations on internet. It has only one thing, the past experience. So it just recalls what happened last time and based on that predicts what would happen this time. When you touched a hot metal for the first time, your brain had no knowledge because it was the first time. So it was an experiment. But after touching it and getting burnt, your brain stored it in its memory, labeling "don't touch a hot metal." So the next time you see a hot metal, your brain recalls what happened last time you touched it. It wants you to avoid getting burns again. This is just a survival strategy of brain. But problem arises when the past experiences are not good. Like in case of public speaking, suppose at the first time you went on the stage, nothing came out of your mouth. You end up ruining everything. You got so embarrassed, felt shame, underconfident, and a loser. When next time you go on a stage, your mind recalls what happened last time. It wasn't a good experience. You suffered failure and self-doubt. And your mind predicts that same thing will happen again. And so to stop happening it again and saving you from the same feelings, your brain tells you to not do it. That's the fear of failure. The fear that stops you from recovering from past failures. And it gets worse when you fail again and again, because now brain has more similar past incidents and it gives even stronger messages to not do the thing again. This is the reason why people find it really hard to continue their struggles and quit so early. Induction. Not all fears are learned. Some are taught and induced by others in forms of warnings. For example, suppose your friend says that dog of a newly moved neighbor is dangerous. You will fear the dog too, even if in reality it is just a cute boy. Or suppose your friend gives a job interview. He comes back and tells you that the interviewer is a really strict and hard man. You'll start fearing even before meeting the interviewer. That's what induced fear is. We fear the situation before even stepping on it, just because some other person found it scary. Many times we don't find a certain situation is scary, but when warned repeatedly, the fear starts developing in mind. These are the major reasons why we fear and how actually fear generated in our civilization and passed on. So what you can do to overcome this, how you're gonna win this battle. You weren't born like this. We don't take birth with a life manual, it doesn't come preloaded to. So it leaves us with just one option. Learn everything from surroundings. That's adaptation, the rule of survival. As you grew, you learned good as well as bad behaviors. Love, compassion, sympathy, kindness, patience, as well as anger, procrastination, worrying, laziness. You learned all these from your surroundings. Fear is also a learned behavior. Fears like fear of spiders and snakes are learned at an early age. Fear of crowd, being judged, being criticized are all learned as you grow up. Originally, you weren't born with fears, insecurities, and other negative qualities. You might have seen people who are just so fearless, guys who nail their stage, who are bold and brave. They don't fear to approach new people and new situations. Why are they like this? Maybe they're from another planet? Mr. Musk will certainly know. Credit goes to the environment they grew in. They got supportive environment. They learned to be fearless while you learned to be fearful, and remaining fears they had, they learned to face them while you learned to run away from them. But you don't have to feel low. It was not your fault. Our brain learns what is fed to it. And at an early age, you didn't have the option to choose your environment and types of people surrounding you. You were just learning. You don't have to cry over what you can't control. But now, you are in control. You can decide what inputs you have to feed your brain. Don't see fear as a problem. You don't really have to get rid of your fears. You just need to manage them. Or in other words, you need to be brave. If you can learn to be fearful, you can also learn to be brave. Now, don't mistake brave with fearless. Fearless means you don't feel fear, and that was you at time of birth. Brave persons are not the person who don't feel fear, but they are the ones who feel it to the bone but say, fuck it. Always remember, your reactions are everything. In most of the cases, you can't decide the actions done against you, but you can always decide your reactions to it, and that is your attitude. Everything is based on your perception. Don't see fear as you have been seeing it. Whenever you feel fear, just remember that it is your brain trying to protect you from threats that don't exist anymore. Don't fight the fear. Don't try to suppress the feeling and reactions in your body. Heavy breath, high alert rate, sweating, just remind yourself that your brain is preparing you for the threat. So just thank your brain for caring so much and tell him you don't need it now. Fear or excitement? Do you know the body reaction is same in fear as well as excitement? Jackhammered breaths, pressurized blood, trembling legs. What's the difference then? Difference is in the perception. Look at adventurers like skydivers, river rafters, base jumpers. They feel the same fear, but it's thrill to them. Thrill that makes them want more of it. and they travel the world to find even more dangerous places to get as much thrill and excitement as possible. Whenever you feel fear, change it into excitement. And how do you do that? By taking fear as a challenge, an opportunity. Because it shows you your weak regions. Congratulations! Now you know where you need to work. Instead of avoiding it, work on it. As a famous quote goes, fear can have two meanings depending on the individual. It is forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And now it's your turn to rise. Expand your comfort zone. We work best inside of a comfort zone. If I tell you to speak about something for about 1 minute in front of your best friend, you won't stop even after an hour. If I tell you to do same in front of your family, again you won't stop. In front of close friends, not a problem. But in a formal meeting, not a chance. Why? This is because your friends, family are inside your comfort zone, and a formal group is outside of your comfort zone. It's similar to jogging. In the beginning, you might be able to run for a few hundred feet. After a few days, it's few hundred meters. After some more days, it's a kilometer. After more weeks, it's 5 kilometers. In the beginning, your comfort zone was in few hundred feet. When you start getting out of your comfort zone starts expanding. In few days, it became 100 meter, then few hundred meter. And one day, running a mile isn't a big deal. I can do it while sleeping, you brag. So get out of your comfort zone and expand it. How bad it could end up. Just ask yourself how worse it could end up. Let's take public speaking. What are the worst outcomes? You might mess up, say something wrong. Your trembling will be visible. Others might laugh, might make comments. They might think you are a loser. So what? They're not gonna kill you. Mostly the things we assume don't happen. Suppose you're among audience and a person is on the stage and he ends up ruining everything. Would you think the same about him? Would you call him a loser? Or will you laugh at him? Of course, no. We create all these assumptions in our mind. Simply we think too much. And even if it ends like that, you don't have to worry, because if someone is laughing at you or is trolling you, there is something seriously wrong in his personality. You should feel pity on him. Poor soul. In the end, you don't have to care about what others think. They're not feeding you, so why you give a fuck? They think I'm a loser. Let them. Fuck it off. I'm working on myself and I know I will fail in the beginning, but only I can stop myself, and I'm not going to. So I'm gonna win. Laugh today, but I'll laugh tomorrow. Focus on rewards. Think of the future. What will happen if you face your fear and do it? What would happen if you deliver that speech in front of people? You will get appreciation, might win a competition, might get a job, like I could have. But most of all, you will feel better about you. You will be proud of you. You will get a sense of achievement, and that's the best feeling. Doing something that you were always scared of. Even if you don't get any of these results, or you end up ruining everything, there is always one thing that you should be proud of. That you took a step forward. People die fearing and doubting. When old people were asked what their greatest regret is, most of them said, not trying because of fear. In the end, there are only regrets and no time. In future, when you look back at your life, it won't matter how many people laughed at you or called you loser. What matters is what you did, how you faced your fears and prevailed. Results are not in your hand, but trying your best is. Doesn't matter what the result is. You don't have to leave any stone unturned from your side. Don't leave any room for regrets. And remember, a warrior is not the one who wins. A warrior is the one who fights. Before you go to fight, like this video and share it with your friends. Maybe a war is waiting for them too. And subscribe for more signals like this. I'll see you in the war.